Hey, Blip here, and I hope you're all doing well. It's been a while since I last made a video, and today I want to talk about the Mage talent tree, and why everyone is mostly upset about it, and myself included. Let's just get straight into it, shall we? The biggest reason everyone is disliking this talent tree is because you have to spend 16 talent points to get the same functionality we have on retail. And what I mean by this is that, a point in Pyroblast to get Pyroblast, a point in Flame Strike to get Flame Strike, a point in Hot Streak to get Hot Streak. You have to spend 3 points at least in the Fire Blast to get it working as it does on retail. Have a look. Here we have the Fire Blast, so I assume you have it baseline. But if you want this little bit at the bottom that says castable by casting other spells, you have to talent into that. If you want your Fire Blast to be a guaranteed critical strike, believe it or not, that is another talent point you have to spend here. And if you want to have more than one charge of Fire Blast, you have to put at least 1 point into Flame On. If you want, the Flame On talent worth of Fire Blast, then you have to put one more extra talent point in here. But I didn't factor that in, just the 1 point needed for the 1 talent point. If you want to have your, as a Fire Mage, we have Critical Mass as a baseline thing, where we have more crit from all sources plus a base 15% extra crit chance. If you want that, and that is like very essential for Fire Mage to have their base, like high crit chance, because without it they just won't crit at all and the class just doesn't work. You need to put 2 points into this. You also need to put a point into Enhanced Pyrokinetics if you want that working as intended. Also a point into Cauterize if you want to have your cheat death, but you also have to spend a point in here if you want to get to Combustion. Combustion also is not as it is on retail. If you want to have the version we currently have, then you also have to put a point into this bit here, which will give your combustion 2 extra seconds duration, as well as the mastery buff where it converts 50% of your critical strike to mastery. And if you want to get your Phoenix Flames back, well, you got to put a point into Phoenix Flames so you can get 2 charges. And then if you want to get extra charge, well, you have to unfortunately put a point into Phoenix Flames. If you also want your Dragon Breath back, you have to go all the way down here into the Mage tree and grab that. So as you can already see, we are spending 16 at least talent points if you want to get everything that you have on retail back. That sucks. That means really all we're getting is 14 points of new stuff. And it's not even new stuff. A lot of it is just recycled. So for example, we get Conflagration back, which was a talent. We get Flame Patch back, which is a talent. Living Bomb, which was a talent. We get Firestarter Searing Touch, which was a talent. And so on. And then we do get some new things, like I cannot lie. Oh yeah, also Pyroclasm is a talent. Then we get like the Legion Legendaries, so we get the Sun King's Blessing, sorry, the Shadowlands Legendaries, and we also get the Fire Frenzy one that was really useful at the start and kind of fell off pretty quickly. And then we get like a few Azerite traits and PvP talents here and there, so we get Wildfire, which is okay. Yeah. That's all I can really say about it. And then we have Tinder, which is the PvP talent that Mages had pretty much for the last couple of expansions, where you gain a faster and more damaged fireball when you don't cast it for a while. Now this is really useless on Fire Mage unless you go with certain build, which I might show you later. But or like if you're if the boss is under 30% and you're using Searing Touch, for example, with your Scorch, then this talent has some use, but otherwise not really. So that's a big reason why people are very unhappy, because yeah, we're not really getting much new stuff at all, and the stuff that we are getting is all the way at the bottom and it's hard to choose. And there's a lot of passive stuff in our tree as well, stuff you don't think about. For example, we have Conflagration. It's kind of cool, but really you don't think about it. It's just a bit of extra numbers you see every now and then when you're casting Fireball. Same with this one here, Phoenix Reborn. It's basically Conflagurate, copy and pasted, but now it also can reduce your Phoenix Flames by 10 seconds whenever it procs, which is cool, I guess, but it has a 5-second cooldown, a 10% proc chance. That's not too bad. I reckon in AoE situations that could be pretty good, but again, AoE situations, I thought the right side was mostly for AoE. And then we also have Pyromaniac, which was a tier 1 talent before now. This talent will always be useless because it's on the single target side to start with. And I guess if you're going AoE, it's not too far down if you're taking combustion, but at the same time, it's never useful for single target because of how it works, because you're always casting a Fireball and a Hot Streaked Pyroblast together, and if those two spells were to crit and this Pyromaniac was to proc, it essentially did nothing. And if you were to get one crit and this was to proc, it gave you half a crit, which is it's okay, but like most of the time you're not going to really be getting any value out of this talent because you don't really think about it, and it's hard. It's really clunky with how the rotation works. It doesn't really fit. For AoE, it's alright because Flame Strikes, you're not really generating more Hot Streaks when you're dumping them, so it's like an extra Flame Strike. Personally, I would prefer if they just chucked this over into the right side here and just made it so it only works for Flame Strike, but when it procs, you gain more damage on your Flame Strike or something. I don't know, something better like that. And then that also means you could do some single target tunneling, right? And then you could dump it into a Flame Strike or something. I don't know. Something like that would be better in my opinion. But it's not all doom and gloom. Like, we've got some okay stuff in here, but we've got Sun King's Blessing back, which is a cool talent. I like it. I like it when it's paired with Pyroclasm, which is all the way over here. So if you want to go the Sun King's Blessing Pyroclasm build, they have made it so you can do that. But you're very stretched on talent points. There is pretty much a specific route you will be taking to get that combination. And my biggest gripe definitely has to be here at the start of the talent tree. And that's because there is no choice here. It is pretty much, hey, you remember these cool spells you had as a Fire Mage? Well, here you go, spend your talent points just re-earning everything. Because you cannot get past this point here without spending at least 8 talent points. And if you want to spend those 8 talent points, it has to be something like this. Cool. So I had to spend all my points in this stuff to even get down to the start, like the place where I can start making some choices. Which sucks a lot, because I'm just reselecting stuff I already have. I literally am just getting my base Fire Blast functionality back in 2 talent points, my Hot Streak, which is like a class essential, my Pyroblast, which is also essential, my Flame Strike. Honestly, I would like it if Flame Strike was optional, like you didn't have to take it, because there are some times, you know, it's useless, like, and it would be cool if it was a choice instead of having to, you know, you have to invest a point into it, but you're never going to use it. You're never going to use it on pure single target situations or even 2-3 target situations. So just having to like select it at all, the fact that it's even here in the first place is a problem, but the fact that I have to put a point into it when I'm never going to use it sucks. And yeah, all this other stuff, we're just gaining all the stuff we want back, just so we can get down here where we start making a few choices. And then once we get like past combustion, it gets okay. Then we start getting some okay choices. But again, a lot of this stuff is very passive and stuff you don't think about. So for example, Firemind, we're getting this back, which was an Azurite trait in BFA. Cool, it's cool I guess, but it's not something you ever think about. It's a passive effect that has no meaning really. Same with Conflagration, same with Phoenix Reborn. I would say Phoenix Reborn is an exception. It's more cooler because it's giving you more Phoenix Flames compared to Conflagration, which really isn't doing much. You know, Pyromaniac is okay with it procs, but in reality it's hard to use. A Master of Flame. Oh yeah, here's the thing. You have to take this talent if you want to be spreading your Ignite. Like, you can't spread your Ignite anymore with Phoenix Flames. That's not a thing anymore. If you want to spread your Ignite, you can only spread your Ignite during combustion. That sucks. Like, what? Like, Fire Mage's fantasy is just being thrown out the window. The whole class was supposed to be, or the spec was supposed to be based around burning your opponents alive, like with flames and fire. And, you know, Ignite is like the core part of that fantasy. I would love to see like us return to the old combustion days where we had, you know, more emphasis on our damage over time, not just like raw. You know, we're basically destruction warlocks at this point with shorter cast times. It sucks. It really does suck. And the fact that this is even the thing is just like, what? And again, it's a passive thing. You will never, if you take this, it's just a spread your Ignite. You will never think about how you're going to be using your Fire Blast during combustion. You pretty much will just be doing a rotation as normal, but now your Ignite will spread. So, whoop-de-doo, I guess. Then we got some other stuff which is kind of okay. So, for example, this Incendiary Eruptions. your living bomb, sorry, your flame patch has a chance to make targets erupt into a living bomb, has potential to be very cool if it triggers this version of living bomb, where it will put one living bomb, it will explode, and then they'll all have living bomb, and then they explode. It will be cool then. But if it's just one instance of living bomb damage to all the targets, it's terrible, because living bomb is kind of built around doing damage based upon it spreading and then all them blowing up. That's how they balanced it. So if it's just one bomb going off, then it's terrible. If it's spreading at least one bomb, it's very good. So we'll have to see how that works. Molten Skyfall? I have never seen anyone play with Molten Skyfall. They put it in Legion, no one ever wanted to use it. They put it in Shadowlands, no one ever wanted to use it. But I guess that makes it a good idea to just put it in the talent tree. Personally, I would love to see it if they change this into just an active meteor button. I know we have meteor down here, but maybe we could have two separate meteors, or make it so if you talent into this meteor plus this meteor, you get like a combination of them both and they turn into like a bigger or stronger meteor. That would be really cool. And this could have its own effect, like maybe less damage, emphasis on the initial hit and more on the burning like aspect of things. AoE is an AoE row after all. Maybe a longer cooldown as well, unless you take this talent with it or something. I don't know. There's a lot they could do here. Molten Skyfall is just really, again, it's a passive you don't think about. Sure, it's cool having a meteor come down every 30 fireballs, but do you know how long that is? That's like every, like, a minute 20 seconds, something like that, due to the other spells you're casting, not just fireball all the time. So yeah, there is a bit of thought process behind this talent. It's better than the others, but it's not really that cool now, is it? And then we get down here and we get like Fire Frenzy, as I spoke about earlier. It's okay, it's cool, just having it is nice, but yeah. Feathered Incantation, again a passive you don't think about. 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 And you kind of see the point here. Like, we're having to spend 16 points to select all of the talents that we've already had in the game before, just to make them work. Like, Pyroblast is a joke. Pyroblast is like 3 points at least to make it as it is on retail. That should never be a thing. So yeah, I'm not very excited. As I said, I think it gets a bit better down here. There's some cool stuff you can do, like you can go for like a Pyroblast spamming build where your Pyroblast will become your main rotational spell, but your combustions will be a bit weaker. But then you can go like into Sun King's Blessing, for example. If I can get down here, that is. And then you can go down into Pyroclasm. So with this sort of build, you have like a spam Pyroblast kind of button. Build, sorry. And then you can take, you know, Tinder plus something like this. Or we can, you know, maybe take a more fun route and go to something like this. With this sort of build, yeah, it's kind of cool. You're like just spamming Pyroblast pretty much. Would it actually be fun in, you know, in actual gameplay? I don't know. I can't really test it and find out, but I think it's kind of cool. Just keep spamming Pyroblast whenever you get the opportunity. You know, make some hot streaks and launch them. Get some Pyroclasm procs. You got Pyromaniac, so you can just get an extra few crits every now and then. Then sometimes you'll get Fire Frenzy proc, and you can just you know, keep spamming Pyroblast. This is kind of the most unique and fun build I could see that's kind of different to what we have already, but otherwise it's... Then you've got like a Ignite spreading build, which is kind of just how Fire Mage plays already. This is the only real cool thing I've seen in the talent tree, this kind of build. Everything else is kind of meh. And then also on this right side, right, you could go all the way down here, go Incantus Flow, or Ring of Power, depends what would be better here. I reckon probably Ring of Power would be better for the Pyroclasm hits. Oh, you could also take Fire Starter here for Pyro damage. Go down here. Takes a while. Get some temporal time anomaly. So you just get random combustions every now and then while you're casting Pyroblasts just for a bit more damage, which is where I think Incantus Flow could be pretty good. try and get the haste or crit. You see the picture of this build. Yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Ultimately, I think they really need to rework this talent tree big time. I think it gets a lot better towards the end. I really dislike how they've removed Ignite, like the spreadable Ignite, and put it into a talent which only works during combustion. That is just terrible. I dislike that we have to spend so many talent points. That's the biggest thing. The fact that there's not really much choice in this first 8-point row. Like, you have to take all this stuff that you've already had before, and also the fact that you're just speccing into the same stuff you've mostly had. Yes, 16 talent points just to get the stuff you've already had baseline. So yeah, sorry to go on for so long. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you think I'm over-exaggerating, or if you agree and you are also a bit worried. At the end of the day, right, you have to look at it like this. Dragonflight is supposed to come out before Christmas somehow. I mean, if they say it's ready, sure, but I don't think a lot of these talent trees for a few classes are in the right place, and let's be real, it takes a lot of work to reinvent and come up with these talent trees, so they really only have like 1 or 2 chances to fix this, or we are going to go into Shadowlands pretty unhappy. Because this is really going to be the only system in place that's going to give us any changes and, you know, impactful rotation changes to our class. So it's important we make a fuss now before we get into Dragonflight, and we have to wait a whole patch before they make slight changes, because they don't do big changes. It'll be like oh, we can rework like 3 of these talents kind of change. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.